Here's your wrestling news for August 21st, 2021. And your headlines for today include CM Punk makes AEW debut at Rampage The First Dance. How often will Punk wrestle for AEW? Contract length, first opponent, and more. What happened after AEW Rampage went off air? Did Roman Reigns and WWE accidentally or intentionally leak out the result of SummerSlam 21 main event? AEW reportedly planning third major talent signing. Why Asuka is missing from WWE television? What's the latest on Banks' Belair match at SummerSlam 2021? Paul Heyman refuses to talk about his role in WWE Superstars releases. Buddy Murphy reveals new ring name in thrilling conclusion to hype video. Edge takes Seth Rollins down memory lane on Smackdown. Major changes to NXT, and more. We're starting today with AEW, and after months of reports, there'll be no more speculation, as CM Punk did indeed debut at last night's Rampage. Fans in Chicago's United Center didn't have to wait long until after Rampage went on the air for his debut, but popped huge when Punk's music played, and the former WWE champion even did a couple of stage dives into the crowd. When Punk finally spoke, he said he felt like Britt Baker in Pittsburgh, adding that he's not going anywhere, once again popping the crowd. This was arguably the biggest return to wrestling of the past decade, matched only by Edge's Royal Rumble 2020 return. And Punk also apologized to anyone who was upset by his decision to leave wrestling 7 years ago, but said he had to get healthy, something he wasn't sure he could do in WWE. Speaking of WWE, we'll have to see what changes the company makes to try and win fans back, as they don't exactly have Stone Cold Steve Austin around anymore, and will instead have to rely on better storylines and character development. Showing off his new official AEW shirt, Punk certainly returned in a major way, in possibly the biggest score for the promotion to date. Punk in AEW is unquestionably a huge signing for the company, but it's also one that was made in very little time. That's according to Fightful Select, who report that Punk entered discussions with AEW about a multi-year deal in June at the latest, meaning that the deal to bring him in took just 2 months to arrange. It's impressive that Punk and AEW only took 2 months to reach an agreement, a sign of just how much both parties wanted to work with each other. A multi-year deal means Punk is here to stay in AEW, and will have plenty of matches in that time, and we're interested to see how he fares over 7 years after his last match. Punk debuted on last night's Rampage in an epic way, and fans won't be waiting too long to see him in action. In his promo, Punk pointed to the rafters where Sting and Darby Allin lurked, saying that he knows Allin likes danger, but there's no danger like facing the Chicago-made wrestler in his hometown. Responding to Punk after Rampage, Allin didn't hesitate in accepting the challenge, as he told the crowd, "I'm gonna keep this very brief. This f***ing company changed my life, and after All Out, everybody will know my name. CM Punk, it'll be an honor." CM Punk vs. Darby Allin has now been added to the All Out card, which will be taking place in Chicago on September 5th. This match shouldn't come as too much of a surprise, as Allin was the odds-on favorite to be Punk's first opponent, sharing that spot with Daniel Bryan, who's expected to debut at the pay-per-view. It's been reported that Punk will wrestle a total 10 to 12 times a year for AEW, but will be appearing on a weekly basis, and we can think of no better opponent for Punk's first match back in the ring than the former AEW TNT champion. Punk's first match will come in just a few weeks' time, and will no doubt be a huge deal for him, Allin, and AEW, but that's not the only thing Punk will be doing as part of the company. During a post-Rampage media scrum, Punk discussed his future in AEW and said that though he will wrestle, he'll also do other things, including commentary, because he wants to give back to wrestling. Explaining his 7-year hiatus, Punk said he wasn't in a place where he can contribute to the industry, but things are much different now that he's in AEW. With his experience, Punk will be a useful asset for AEW both in the ring and out of it, all thanks to his multi-year deal with Tony Khan. More CM Punk news, as the Best in the World joined AEW last night, but he showed up with a very special gift for the fans. At the end of his promo, Punk thanked fans with a frozen treat, as free CM Punk-themed ice cream bars were given out to fans on their way out of the United Center. This was a play on Punk's love of ice cream bars from his WWE days, but the sweet treat translated perfectly between companies. Punk's debut was the highlight of an explosive edition of Dynamite, and after the fiery words the former WWE champion had to say, it's good that the fans were able to cool off with a treat that fans have been waiting for a very long time. Punk isn't the only former WWE champion in AEW, as Paul White made headlines by joining earlier this year after 22 years working for Vince McMahon. The former Big Show knows all about facing Punk, and in an interview with Sports Nation, White compared Punk's monumental debut last night to another major moment in wrestling history, saying, "This is one of the biggest, I think, anticipated events that I can remember in a long time. I mean, I was trying to think about it today, like, what does it compare to? Does it compare to Hulk Hogan going to WCW? Does it compare to the NWO? Stone Cold Steve Austin and the glass breaking with Austin 316? White wasn't the only former WWE name to address Punk's debut, as after Dynamite, Kenta, aka Hideo Itami, said he wants Punk in what'd be a battle of the two masters of the GTS. Former WWE superstar Lance Storm said that he thought the crowd singing Judas for Chris Jericho was the coolest entrance until he saw Punk walk out on AEW's stage, whilst Taz said he'd never heard a pop quite like what happened that night, saying the crowd was bigger than nuclear for Punk's debut. Punk certainly impressed on his first night with AEW, and we, like the rest of the wrestling community, are excited to see what he does next as the company's hottest signing. Over to Smackdown next, as last night's show was the go-home face-off between Roman Reigns and John Cena, and yet another impressive outing by both men. Reigns especially has improved significantly on the mic in recent years, and held his own so much last night that he may have spoiled their SummerSlam match. During the segment, Cena threatened to win the Universal title and take it to Hollywood, a line that would have seen any other superstar be booed, but Cena had complete control over the crowd. Reigns then upped the stakes in a big way, as he couldn't stand the idea of losing to John Cena, and told Cena that if he were to lose at SummerSlam, he would leave WWE. We know Reigns won't leave WWE, especially after the past year, and this announcement has seemingly spoiled that the Tribal Chief will stand tall tonight. Everything about last night's main event segment was perfect until Michael Cole got involved, as his single line on commentary ruined it all in an instant. Proving that he can pin Reigns, Cena rolled the Tribal Chief up for a 3 count, and despite Reigns kicking out in time, Cole still counted the 3. This isn't what WWE needed on the last show before SummerSlam, and though the match tonight is bound to be great, last night's segment wasn't nearly as special as what fans saw the week before. More AEW news next, as the company has signed some huge names over the year, including CM Punk, who debuted on last night's Rampage. It's also been reported that Daniel Bryan is likely to debut at next month's All Out event, but the company isn't stopping just yet. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, another huge name is on the horizon for AEW, but it isn't clear at this time who it would be. The most obvious answer is Ric Flair, who only recently left WWE without a non-compete clause, and who's expected to join AEW soon, working alongside his future son-in-law, Andrade El Idolo. Given how much talent WWE has released over the past year, there's no shortage of big names the company could sign, such as Bray Wyatt or Braun Strowman, and time will tell who's next on AEW's radar. Ever since joining WWE in 2015, Asuka has proven herself to be one of the company's most talented performers, as not only a multi-time champion, but the only woman to win a Royal Rumble and Money in the Bank. After losing the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania 37, however, the Empress has slid down the card and hasn't competed since the Money in the Bank pay-per-view last month. Now we have an update on her condition, and thankfully she's not injured, as the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports. For those asking about Asuka, she's fine. She's just not being used for anything right now. She was at the Raw tapings early, but left early since she wasn't being used. We can only hope that Asuka is able to make her return to TV soon, as she's arguably the company's most talented, underutilized star. But for now, there's nothing in the works for one of the few women's Triple Crown champions. More Smackdown news, as Women's Champion Bianca Belair had a huge task last night, voluntarily facing Zelina Vega and Carmella in back-to-back matches 24 hours before she defends her title against Sasha Banks. Belair won the match after struggling a bit, but it never looked like she was under any threat by any means, and strangely, Banks herself didn't appear at last night's show. It was the right call to showcase the SmackDown Women's Champion as a dominant superstar, but with that said, she's not the only name on the Blue Brand's female roster. We are still wondering where Toni Storm has vanished to and where Liv Morgan has gone, especially given how popular she was before Money in the Bank. Sure, it was weird for Vega and Carmella to be portrayed as Banks' allies last week, but at least they're getting TV time, whilst other women have been taken off the show entirely. If WWE doesn't try to freshen up its TV, then we'll be seeing the same combination of women in similar matches every week, an inherent problem with WWE's current product that isn't just with their treatment of female superstars. Whatever the case, Belair looked strong on last night's show, and while she's not guaranteed to retain tonight, we're sure she'll put up a fight in her WrestleMania 37 rematch with the Boss. It wasn't too long ago that both women were pulled from live events, sparking speculation that their title match would be postponed, and now that's sadly the case once more. As we've previously said, Banks wasn't on Smackdown last night, and PW Insider reports that she wasn't at the venue in Phoenix, Arizona at all, and that their title match scheduled for tonight is once again at risk of being pulled. Only time will tell if Banks can wrestle tonight, and we're hoping for the best for the boss of the WWE, no matter what difficult decision the company reaches today. For the past year, WWE has been releasing a ton of talent, all in the name of budget cuts, an odd call given that they're already making record profits. When the Good Brothers were let go last year, AJ Styles was upset at their departure, especially after Paul Heyman was the one who allegedly suggested they should be fired. This led to Styles requesting a move to SmackDown last year, as he didn't want to work alongside Heyman, but Styles has since said that his issues with Heyman is now water under the bridge. Now Heyman himself is speaking about Styles, Gallows, and Anderson, as he told Inside the Ropes this week that he's not here to expose backstage secrets. Whatever you think of sports entertainment, I'm not here to expose the wires, so whatever happened between Gallows and Anderson happened behind the scenes, behind closed doors, in a meeting that I'm not going to expose to the public because it was an inner sanctum meeting with the chairman of the board, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And unless Vince wants to talk about it publicly, I'm not going to be the one to expose what happened, why, and what the other conversations were in that meeting. Since the release, the Good Brothers have done well, working in both Impact and AEW, something that never would have happened had they not been released by WWE, allegedly at Heyman's suggestion. One person who knows about being released is Buddy Murphy, who's reportedly a top prospect for several promoters. Earlier this month, Murphy shared a promotional video showing him being sprung from prison after serving 8 years, a reference to his WWE tenure, and 90 days, a reference to his ongoing non-compete clause. In a new set of videos, Murphy's adventure out of the prison continues, and at the end of the latest video, it was confirmed that his name is Buddy Matthews. Obviously, the former Cruiserweight champion couldn't keep being called Buddy Murphy, as that name is owned by WWE, and the former superstar also changed his Twitter name to reflect this change. Buddy's non-compete clause will end on August 31st, and no matter where he goes next, we're sure that fans will flock to see Buddy Matthews in action. Back to SmackDown, and Edge opened this week's show with a spine-chilling promo, as his body language, facial expressions, and the promo itself showed why he's an all-time great. An all-rounder who excels in every department, Edge cut an intense promo, saying he knows one curb stomp can end a career. Later, Seth Rollins came out to respond to Edge, but after red lights flashed, it was Edge who got the last laugh, appearing on the screen, saying he had to channel his darker side. In an homage to his early days as part of the Brood, Edge gave Rollins a bloodbath, dousing the former Universal Champion in a thick red-black liquid that fell from the ceiling. This bloodbath got a great reaction, but it's unlikely we'll see this side of Edge at SummerSlam, and with Edge standing tall on SmackDown, we wouldn't be surprised if it's the Messiah who gets the win on tonight's show. And we're ending with NXT news, and for weeks it's been reported that changes were coming to the Gold brand, and now a change of location is in the works. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it's reported that WWE is ending the relationship with Full Sail University, with no explanation given as to why this decision was made. From now on, NXT will be filmed entirely from the Capitol Wrestling Center, and the fact that the Gold brand is filming the next month in advance is to give them time to upgrade the center to become the new full-time home for NXT. This is just one of several reported changes coming to NXT, as Vince McMahon plans on converting the show back to being a developmental ground for Raw and Smackdown. In that same report, The Observer noted how the angle on this week's NXT, which saw Samoa Joe and Karrion Kross tear up the place, was the storyline reason for the refurbishing of the Capitol Wrestling Center. It also stated that this new look will feature fan suggestions, saying, "The plexiglass may be gone as WWE sent a survey out to fans asking if they like it or don't. The belief is that on television, the show looks too dark, so the idea is to make the studio brighter with more lights and more colorful looking." NXT will continue to prosper despite these changes, or at least that's what the NXT superstars hope for, and from now on, the Gold brand will be permanently airing from the Capitol Wrestling Center. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.